Hey, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution episode number 105. It is a Friday, a little late. Why, you ask? Well, I took today off. Have some days that I need to use by the end of the year, which is coming up quickly. So I like taking Fridays off so I can check out to see if the vendor has stocked any of the Target or Walmart. So, did receive a message this morning that one of the local stores had not been stocked. He didn't think. He did say there were some update fat packs still on the shelf and some complete sets. Um, I would be interested in some updates, so I may head over to that store just to pick up some update fat packs. I do want to open some update, but it's not. I had the opportunity to buy some on Walmart.com this week, and I just kind of, I'd rather go to the store and pick up some blasters myself. So I've had a couple people reach out and say, "Hey, I can get you at cost and shipping." I've had opportunities at online, Walmart.com at retail, but I'm just gonna pass. And if I find it at the store myself, I'll pick up some packs or blasters. Jenny, good morning. Was wondering what was going on today. Yeah, I just started. So I took today off. A planned day off. I have some days that I need to get used up before the end of the year. So I'm using one of those. Slept in, and then did my regular routine. I feel more productive in the morning if I actually do morning routine as opposed to sleeping in and throwing sweatpants and a hoodie on. So since it's Friday and I do want to be productive today, I decided to go with my morning routine. So a little delayed here on Hobby Evolution this morning. So so the plan is the one Target store appears not to have been stocked. The one closest to me also doesn't appear to have been stocked this morning. So I may just do some eBay packages this morning and then head out a little bit later and then try to catch him at some point this afternoon. I do want to find some Tops update, just for the fun, just a couple blasters, a few packs, just to rip it open. I know it's there's not much in it, but it's just kind of one of those fun things I want to rip. So, and I want to rip some football. I'm really having fun opening football. So I did receive, speaking of other sports, non-Cubs, no Cubs came in the mail yesterday, but I did receive my package that I received that I bought from Old Town Cards on Twitter. He did a stack sale again last weekend with some basketball. I picked up all of these basketball cards for like $30 shipped. Markel Fultz rookie. There's an LaMarcus Aldridge Tops rookie. What else? One of these like disco optics of Isaiah Thomas. This is a Isaiah Thomas. Um, Looks like a red or orange reactive mosaic. There's a green. I got some color. So what I'm doing, and I started this last Sunday. I started organizing basketball that I found during my big sort a few weeks ago, and I put those in a couple boxes. So I began to. I'm going to sort by player last name, and then I'm going to follow the NBA season this year. And if somebody gets hot, I can look to see if I have anything. So I'm looking forward to the draft next week, I believe, and the NBA season hopefully starting in December. So no Cubs yesterday. The count is 507,900 even, 507,900. And today's topic, the answer is always maybe. And what's the question? Questions. Well, there's a few, and this is hobby related. The answer is always maybe, because a lot of times on social media, I see pictures of the Target card section. Should I buy this? I see pictures of cards. Was this a good buy? an unopened box of cards. Should I open this? And then one of them that kind of triggered this is, and the answer is probably no in this case. Should I open a card shop? Maybe, but probably not. So I want to hit on a few of those. So the hobby is unique because we all hobby differently. I have a couple million cards. I'm trying to collect 1 million Cubs cards. That's my hobby. And a lot of people think that's crazy. And it probably is. It probably is. But I think building sets is crazy. Actually, I don't. But it's just not for me. Hockey, NASCAR, not for me. Soccer, not for me. Up until a few months ago, basketball and football, not for me. Now I've found some fun. It brings me joy, and that's the key. What makes you happy? The hobby should make you happy. So a lot of these questions that are asked, I get. Some may be asked by new people in the hobby, and they may not really have, found their footing in the hobby. They really don't know. And I was there. I got back in heavily into the hobby in 2014. And I just bought stuff. I would go to Dave and Adams and Blowout, and I would buy unopened boxes. I was their guinea pig. When you see stuff on sale and you're like, why? Who's buying this? I was in 2014 because I didn't know any better. I didn't know it was garbage. I almost bought a case. This is how bad it was. I almost bought a case of triple play, like the new triple play, like the garbage cartoonish triple play, because it was like $50 for a case. And I thought that was a steal. Thank God I didn't buy that, because it's garbage. I mean, it's fun for little kids, I think. But and that's the surprising thing. I think I was the only person that actually considered buying that, because in all of the trades I've done, and I bet I've conducted over 1,000 trades in the 1 Million Cubs project. And I probably have received 20 triple play cards out of 500,000 cards received in trades, and like 20 are triple play cards. And I have a few in my collection. I think my mom put a couple packs in my stocking one year. I've in those Fairfield boxes, you get like 10 packs. There's been triple play packs in those. Collections I've acquired and bought. There's been, a small pile. So I get it. Like, you have it. But I didn't know what to do. I didn't know it was not a good buy. I didn't know what was a good buy. So I was just buying stuff. And maybe I should have asked these questions. And at least I would have gotten somewhat of an answer. But it kind of all goes back to, you're going to have to answer that question yourself. What are you in it for? If you're at Target and you see a wall of cards, it can be intimidating for someone newer returning to the hobby. It's kind of like me in the toothpaste aisle. I've been buying toothpaste for 20 years now. I'm 38, so since I was 18, I've been buying my own toothpaste. And it's still intimidating because there's so many to choose from, and there's different flavors, and this whitens your teeth, and this one is fluoride, and this one has more this. And I think I just ended up buying the same thing or something similar, just what I'm used to. So I can understand why it's intimidating and be like, what should I buy? Staring at the cards like a deer in headlights. So what should you buy? Well, what are you in it for? Are you in it to flip, whether it's sealed, or are you hoping to get value within the box to sell? What are you keeping? Are you collecting a certain team or a certain player, or are you in it for autographs, jersey cards? It kind of goes back to, what do you want out of that purchase? And the answer differs. Show a picture of Topps Update, Bowman, and Topps Heritage. What should I buy? Or should I buy this? Maybe. I don't know. What are you in it for? It's kind of a multi-layered answer. What are you in it for? What do you want out of that purchase? So the answer is always maybe. Now, if somebody asks, should I open this box or should I rip this card? As a watcher, the answer is always rip. The answer is always rip. If it's me personally, I have a case of 2018 Topps Heritage Minors that I just stashed away because I bought a bunch of loose boxes that I opened to get my rip out of, and I kept it sealed because I've seen what some of the previous sealed cases of that product have gone for. And I had a case of 2011 Topps Heritage Minors, and I ended up ripping 6 boxes. I ended up selling 6 boxes for $100 each, which I bought for like $60 each. I was very happy. Now I'm very sad because those boxes sell for $400 to $500. So I kind of got that FOMO, the fear of missing out on the potential that this 2018 sealed case in 6-7 years could, be worth, $5,000-$10,000. It probably won't, but it's sitting there. I haven't touched it, and I've tried to distract myself by buying football and ripping. Try to rip every week just so I don't get that urge to rip into that Heritage Miners case. At some point, I probably will. There's Randy Arozarena in there that, I almost like, I can get 10 more Randy Arozarenas and sell those quickly. So if I asked social media, should I rip this? 85% are probably going to say rip. But for me, that's not really what I am in it for. I just want to hold it and hopefully, get some value out of it on a flip down the road. And then the last part was, and this is kind of what triggered the answer is always maybe. And in this case, well, it is maybe in this case because I know of some success stories. But somebody reached out to Twitter, had a question, looking for answers on opening a card shop. Now, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, when that question was posed, and it was posed often in like Facebook groups and in the blowout forums, should I open a card shop? I want to open a card shop. The answer is always no. Just don't do it. Get a basement, get a card room like this, and do everything online, because that's where a bulk of card shop transactions are based online. There's no need to pay monthly rent or buy property, and all the bills that come along with opening a brick and mortar shop. Just do it in your basement, and save so much. And it's a small margin anyway. Now, there has been some success stories. Friends of mine, Real Breaks, Tom and Ryan. Ryan just opened a beautiful card shop in Minnesota. I can't remember which Champlain, I think. Champlain. Beautiful card shop, and they've had big success in the breaking world. I think they're back-to-back winners of the Breaker of the Year, and they're doing really well. Tom, actually, we have connections from where we grew up, and then we lived close by here in Wisconsin. He moved up further north, and and he actually just bought a building in downtown Waupun, Wisconsin, and he'll be opening up like a sorting and shipping facility in the second floor, and then he'll have a card shop on the main floor in that downtown area. So, in those cases, absolutely, because you've had sustained success and you have a good business plan. But a lot of people that ask this question are guys like me that, sell a few cards online and it's always been a dream. And this is the time that you should absolutely not, unless you have big success and you want to grow. But just starting from scratch, not a good idea. And we are near or at the peak. I don't think we're at the peak quite yet. I think 2021 will be bigger than 2020. But take a look back at the junk wax era and remember in like 1988, 1989, there was maybe one or two card shops in your area. I grew up in rural Illinois, a town of 900. So we never had a local card shop in my hometown, but there was a town about 5 miles down the road of 1,000. It had a card shop later on. And then there was about 10 miles to the south, there was a town of 12,000, and about 10 miles to the west, there was a town of 8,000. And I think in the late 80s, one shop opened in one of those cities, small cities. And then another one opened up in the other small city, and then the small town had one. And then by 91, I think there were 12 card shops in those three towns. And by 1995, I think one remained. And I feel that we're kind of at that point where there's a lot of money coming in to the hobby. People, get big eyes. It's always been my dream, and cards are crazy, kind of like they were in the early 90s. And I just think it would be a bad idea. But the answer is always maybe. Everybody's situation is different. So maybe it is a good idea, but it's probably not in that instance. Ken is with us. What's happening? I was worried about you. Yep. I'm a little late today. I took today off. So I slept in and went about my morning routine just with about an hour and a half of extra sleep this morning. So that's why I'm an hour and a half or 2 hours behind. 2 hours behind. BEAUX. I like that reference. About to head out to the card show. Sweet. We have I have not been to a card show since I set up a table in February. And then they were shut down. The rest, I think we had in our city, we have monthly shows. And I think in August they opened back up, and I missed it. I think that's the weekend I went to my brother's. And then September, I thought about going, but we had a surge in COVID here in our county. And our card shows are in a small lobby or a small banquet room in a hotel. And they're crowded normally in not a pandemic, and I'm uncomfortable. It's so packed and crammed into this small banquet room. I'm uncomfortable when it's no pandemic, no sickness, nothing like that going on. So I stayed away from the September show. I think cases have surged to all-time highs in the last couple months. So I think they've actually canceled the last couple shows, but I am itching. I have built a nest egg of card show money that I want to dip into and go through some quarter boxes and buy some Cubs cards and get back into it. But Wisconsin, man, is like ground zero for COVID right now. It's not a good situation. So yeah, I'm itching to get back to a show, and I'm worried about the National next year in Chicago because Illinois is surging as well, and their governor has actually been, really on the forefront of not locking things down, but trying to lock things down and prevent, you know, big shows from happening. So, you know, right now we're still, you know, what, 8 months away, 9 months away from next year's national, but I don't think it's going to happen in Chicago if things, you know, if there's not a vaccine, if there's not a vaccine available to the public, I do not see the national getting into Chicago. And also I read, I think on Billboard, for concerts, and I didn't read the full article. So, but there is an article about what may happen for concerts and large events where you may have to show proof of having the vaccine, you know, in the interim while this is still raging on, and a vaccine is in place. So it's going to be interesting to see how larger shows and events and sporting events and all that is going to happen, you know, next year. The show is bigger, very tall room. He's not having the monthly shows in smaller locations, just the big show about quarterly. That's good. See, I would totally do that. I would be comfortable because I still go to the grocery store. I still go to Target and Walmart looking for cards. You know, I still do that stuff, but I'm just not comfortable in like the smaller. So I'd totally be down to do you know, in a larger room, but where they have our shows here locally, the small monthly shows just not going to happen. So that's what I have for today. I'm going to get to some shipping, and I may venture to remember Venture. Venture had an awesome card section. Venture was a like Target. Venture was their sign was like black and white, and I think it was like angled black and white. We had one in the Quad Cities in Quad Cities, Illinois. And I just remember it having such a huge selection of cards. And then I think it went under in the 90s at some point, but Venture was awesome. So I'm going to venture to Target at some point later this morning. So that's on my agenda. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry I was late. I'll probably be a little late tomorrow as well, being the weekend and all. So check me out on Twitter at 1millioncubs, 1millioncubs.com, and the eBay store link, top of the page. 10% off when you buy 3 or more cards. Again, that's at 1millioncubs.com, eBay store link, top of the page. Ken, enjoy the card show, and if you get in to the live show, live feed tomorrow, let me know how it goes, or show them off on Twitter. Love to see what you come up with. Jenny, thanks for tuning in, and have a wonderful Friday.